Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a great one whenever you happen to be stopping by, whether it's now, later, whenever. Hopefully not never. I'm going to do a couple astrology predictions. I guess my dog doesn't want me to do that. Okay. Playtime has been activated. So, all right. Do I need to go out there and intervene? I think everything's okay. All right. So pets chiming in, I guess, too. But yeah, hope everybody's been doing good and going to continue on with the NFL predictions. I'm going to pull up the astrology charts for the Broncos versus the Patriots, and then the Seahawks versus the LA Rams. And then I'm also going to pull up an NBA chart for the Minnesota Timberwolves hosting the Golden State Warriors. That game was actually supposed to be yesterday, but in wake of yet another tragedy in Minnesota, that game was postponed until today. So I'm going to take a peek at that too. And yeah, I hope everybody's just, staying safe and it's just, hanging in there, doing the best that you can. All right. So thanks everybody again. Hi, Angel. Good to see you. Yes, thank you. My heat is back on. Yes. So that's one positive over here. Friday, I woke up very early, and I was gonna go turn on my heat to warm it up before I got up, warm the house up before I got up for the day. And I realized my heat had stopped working at some point throughout the night. So that was fun to wake up to. And it was it's been -20 here for the past couple of days, plus the real feel, it was -40. So anyway, but yeah, doing good now. That's back on, so all is well on that front. Yes, I know. Gigi making an appearance here. She rarely wants to come on camera. I always have to coax her over here to be on camera, but yeah, you definitely got to hear her playing right outside the door with the foster kitty. I still have the foster kitties, so she's a great tabby. If anybody knows anybody that wants a kitten, she was born late July, early August of last year, so about 6 months old. If you know anybody that wants a cat that's in Minnesota or the surrounding states, like North Dakota, the Dakotas or Iowa or Wisconsin or anything like that, I will provide transport. But yeah, if you know anybody that wants a kitten, my email's in the description. If you want to send me an email for more information, I'd be happy to provide it. But yeah, my dog and the foster kitty were playing. So that's why I'm do I need to, I do have to keep an eye on them just because, my dog's so much bigger than the cats. So I do have to supervise the playing, and I don't when I leave, I don't leave them together. So, I think everything's okay, but I do have to kind of keep my eye on them. So anyway, I don't really hear anything right now. So hopefully all is well. So anyway, let's see here. Oh, and then T-Bass, I don't know if you're on right now, but I did see your comment. Everybody from T-Bass, he says, everybody stay safe up there in Minneapolis. Sorry what you're going through right now. Yeah, seriously. It's, for a minute, I contemplated even coming on and continuing with the predictions with the sporting events, because it's not as important as real life, right? It's just entertainment, the sports and stuff like that. Doesn't really matter at all, but decided to come on anyway and just kind of continue through it. But seriously, thinking about everybody and it's just man, another freaking senseless tragedy in my opinion. So yeah, a lot. Minnesota's definitely been in the news obviously a lot lately, and not for good things. So that's just it's sad, and it's a bummer, but yeah, I mean, definitely got to mention it. And yeah, it's just kind of shaking your head, just why, why? So just, yeah. Anyway, so try to move forward, but there you go. V-Flow for president. Yeah. And then on the Minnesota Vikings front, here briefly before I pull up the astrology charts for today. Yeah, I mean, to my surprise, I'm pretty surprised that Brian Flores is staying as the defensive coordinator with the Minnesota Vikings. I kind of thought that he would kind of meander on, But I saw Rap too. Shout out to Vocal Bike. He's posting so much content, and I saw a video pop up from him about like this potential like setup for like this upcoming year for the Vikings. Like if things don't go well, like Brian Flores will just kind of slide into the head coaching position, and Kevin O'Connell will be out of here. So interesting. And more steam kind of is Joe Burrow, or are the Vikings going to try to go after Joe Burrow? So much stuff, for the Vikings, even though they're not playing, they did not make the playoffs. They're always still in the news because there's always some sort of drama going on with the Minnesota Vikings. Drama in Minnesota, seriously, all the time. Just like, all right, okay. Not to mention, the weather's like an understatement at this point for Minnesota weather. But everybody's been dealing with the cold front. So hopefully everybody's been staying safe and staying warm and doing all those good things and just doing the best you can. All right. With what you got. That's all we can do. So everybody, appreciate you being here. Let's see here. But yeah, I wonder too, how much I'm just getting the charts kind of set here. You guys know me. I have so many astrology charts pulled up. So I got 3 for today. I'm just blowing them up here before I get ready to share. Let's see. So I'm going to start. I'm going to go down the line. I'm going to start with the first NFL game. That's going to be Denver versus the Patriots. Then I'm going to share the chart for Seattle, the Seahawks versus the LA Rams. Shout out to my dude Payo Time too over on Rams Radar. All right, he's going to be streaming later. I'm sure I'll probably pop over there and say hi. And if you're not subscribed to his channel, definitely go do that. His lives get insane. He gets like hundreds of people in there. So, and then the Timberwolves and the Golden State, they're slated for 4:30 Central Time. So that'll be the last chart that I share. Anyway, so I'm just going to kind of go down the line. Got my nerd notes over here. All right. And the moon, you guys, has officially moved into Taurus. Probably, I don't know, maybe about like 15, 20 minutes ago. So the moon is in Taurus, everybody. The moon rules our feelings, our emotions, all that sort of stuff. And she does really, really well in the sign of Taurus. She likes being there. The moon in Taurus is what's called exalted. Pardon me, I'm just kind of moving my papers around over here. What's called exalted. So she doesn't rule the sign of Taurus, but she feels like an honored guest. Okay, so we got the moon in a sign that she really enjoys being in. Taurus is kind of rules, money, like stock markets, things like that, but also is an earth sign, rules like food and oil and things like that. So hopefully the moon moving into Taurus for the next couple of days here kind of brings a more like grounded, kind of energy just for everybody. So we got that going on. Got this little piece of hair too. You guys always know me. I'm always like fussing around with my hair. Feel like it's doing okay. I just feel like it's a little bit of a fuzzball right now, but hey, what do you do? All right, let's pull up this chart here. Oh, and then before I get into it, just a little recap on my last predictions here. The last prediction I did, and I've been posting more on TikTok, you guys. So if you want to follow my TikTok channels, I do have 3 of them now. That would be great. They're in the description. If you want to give me a follow, if you're on TikTok, that would be absolutely fabulous. But I've been posting the kind of more like condensed version, and then I'll repost them on my YouTube channel as shorts too. I don't know if you guys have seen that stuff too, but check it out if you want to. But that's, I'm just doing cross posting, right? I'm just kind of everywhere. But anyway, so I've been doing that. My last prediction I did post as a short. I did the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Minnesota Wild. That was on the 19th, a couple days ago. And again, that's posted on a short on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. And then I did post it on my TikTok channel. I had the Minnesota Wild winning by 2 goals, and they ended up winning by 3. I think the final score was 6-3. So that was my very last prediction. And then for the NFL predictions, man, my playoff record, you guys, I'm under 500, have not been doing well. And it's kind of a bummer because I came off the regular season feeling really good because I went 12-5 for all the Vikings predictions. So I'm like, man, I did pretty good. And then now NFL playoffs, it's like a whole nother ball game over here, it seems like. So my current record for the NFL playoffs, I'm sitting at 4-6. So it'd be nice to get the 2 games right today to move back to 500. But yeah, I'll carry on. And then, yeah, I'm going to look at the Wolves and Golden State too for their game later today. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, everybody. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out. My coffee got a little cold. But you know what? Oh, Gigi says hi again. All right, so let's pull up the chart here for the Broncos. All right, and the Patriots. Okay, so let's see. Which one am I on here? I want to make sure I choose the right one. I think this is it. Let's see. Yep. All right. So game time slated for 2:00 Mountain Time. Wait, no, 1:00 Mountain Time. Because every time I look at the games, the start of the games, I live in Central Time, so Google gives me Central Time, which is fine. But then I have to like do the math, and I feel like that that lady from that like little meme or whatever, where she's like thinking really hard with like all the like the triangle and the numbers and symbols. Like, wait, what? So the game's gonna be at 1:00 Mountain Time in Denver. Broncos hosting the Patriots. So let's see what's going down here. All right. So I always got to double check the time because the timing is so crucial with the astrology charts. So anyways, I think we'll get there, you guys. Hi, Ryan. Yes, I hope you're having a good Sunday too. I am, Ryan. I'm having a nice one. AFC pick Patriots. Nothing against Denver, but I can't in good faith root for Sean Payton. I totally understand that, Ryan. I feel that. NFC again, nothing personal, Sam, but I want the Rams. All right, there you go. So it sounds like Ryan is not going to let himself root for the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton, which again is understandable with the history with Sean Payton and the Vikings for sure. And yeah, nothing against that. That's our Darnie, but you're rooting for the Rams. Payo time will be definitely happy to hear that. And like me personally, you guys, the majority of you know this, but for those of you that don't, I have no fandom whatsoever. When I look at the astrology charts, I just stay neutral and objective. I put my fan hat like to the side because it's just gonna get in the way. It's like kind of like Ryan said, nothing personal, but when I do the predictions, again, just got to stay neutral, like not a fan of either team, just looking at what I can find in the astrology chart and making the prediction off of what I see. All right. But before we get in, like as a fan, I don't really care. The Broncos have been one of the teams that I have been rooting for. One of my backup teams. So they're still in it. So that's kind of cool. And I am a fan of Sam Darnold. I want him to do well. I think that would be so fun, to see him continue and go to the big game and try to win it. And, but, on the flip side, in solidarity with my dude Payo, like if the Rams take it, hey, again, this is as a fan. And I don't know if Corey's in the chat right now, but he'll pop in from time to time. And he's a Patriots fan. So like, as a fan, I really don't care. But, I have my reasons, to be in solidarity or pick one team over the other. But overall, really, I don't care. But if I had to pick, like as a fan, yeah, I'd say probably rooting for the Broncos. No offense, Corey. And then probably just rooting for the Seahawks just because, again, I'm supporting Sam Darnold and nothing against Payo. But honestly, I don't care. May the best team win. All right? Yeah, Ryan, I know. That's just another freaking tragedy. It's just so crazy. And one of my good friends lives in downtown Minneapolis. So I just like texted him the other day and I'm like, dude, how are you doing? Like, and he's doing okay. So yeah, it's crazy. But I don't live in the metro anymore. I live a little ways out now. So I'm a little further away from all of that, but still it's just, yeah, like you, Ryan, I hope everybody's just staying as safe as they can and doing as well as they can with the current circumstances. So yeah, it's just wild. And I mean, like I could go into like a whole astrological reason for why we're seeing certain things play out on a world level right now, which is like mundane astrology. And I don't necessarily like practice mundane astrology, but there's definitely like things in the sky that are happening, or like the planets are communicating in a certain way that is like reflective of what's going on down here. I briefly mentioned it in the past, but yeah. Ryan, it doesn't matter what side you stand on. It's just wrong and something needs to get figured out. Oh, 100%. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Can't even, yeah, it's like you can't even be in the street or be out and about, right? Without being concerned or worried that something's going to happen to you. It's terrible. Yeah, terrible. And I'm not trying to like fearmonger or anything at all, but one of the big things that like planet that I've been kind of like looking at and like astrologers have been talking about and looking at is the planet of Uranus. Okay, or the planet Uranus, which is over here retrograde in the sign of Taurus right now. Uranus is very chaotic energy. It's unpredictable energy, and it moves very, very slowly. Eventually, later this year, Uranus will move into the sign of Gemini. It was there earlier, but it will move there and it will stay there instead of going back into Taurus. And in times past, when Uranus has been in Gemini, there was the French Revolution and the Revolutionary War. And it was either, I think, one of the world wars or like the Civil War. I can't remember. Again, I'm not trying to like fearmonger, but the planets, they move in a certain way. So you can kind of look and see the last time they were in a certain sign, what happened, to kind of get like an idea of maybe what's to come. Now, there's going to be different planetary alignments happening other than that, but you know, and since Uranus moves very slowly, and again, it's this unpredictable and chaotic energy, it's kind of like all of this like happening over time, which is kind of like what we're all like living through right now. So anyway, let's see. Ryan, I told my wife we were going close to New Ulm to see your nephew, Mosey Boy. Is that what you call him? Moosey Boy? And I told her I don't even want to go near downtown. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Just to, yeah. Yeah, just be safe. Hope you're, you have safe travels just on the road too, in general, just driving during winter. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. And I'm just thinking about my friends that live like in downtown. Again, I told you guys that I reached out to one of them because I was like, dude, is everything okay? But yeah, I have a couple of friends that live right in downtown Minneapolis. So anyway, I used to live a lot closer. I used to live in the city, but I live a ways out now. So I'm, removed from it in that way, but still, maybe that's not the best word, but like I'm a little bit further away, but that doesn't mean that it's not still like happening around us. And like everybody that lives in like the Midwest or Minnesota and just everybody in general, it's just like, man, what a time. So yeah, that's why I contemplated too, even coming on and talking about it, because it's like sports don't matter. Like there's so many more important things that are going on that matters, right? But here I am. Texas 77 Fahrenheit here, but windy. Oh no, not that. So I might need to wear some long pants soon. Oh geez. Yeah. Tough for you. 77. That sounds so nice. Good to see you though. Thanks for popping in. I swear, it's always freaking windy here. All right, just a temperature update, and then let's get into the chart here because the game's going to start in about an hour, a little bit over an hour. So right now, it's -6. Okay, it feels like -25, and the wind's pretty low today. It's only 11 miles an hour, so we got that going, and it is sunny. So it doesn't feel as cold as it is, but yeah. I'm definitely, I turned my heat up. I'm actually going to turn my space heater on too. All right, so I'll turn that on. And then, yeah, when I let my dog outside, she definitely gets her boots on and her jacket too. So, but it's definitely gone up like 10 degrees and less since like yesterday. So we'll take it. All right, we'll take the small victories where we can get them. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to put on the bottom now what chart we're looking at. So planetary pregame time. Denver, can I spell? I would typed it Denner. Who wants dinner? Okay. I'm kind of hungry, I guess. So Denver versus New England Patriots. All right, let's get into this. And what's his name? You guys, what's that quarterback's name again? I had it pulled up. Is it Jason Stidham or something? He's going to be starting for the injured Bo Nix for the Denver Broncos. All right. Jason Stidham. Stidham. I barely knew him. Okay. I'm a loser. Okay. No, I'm not. I'm just kind of a dork. Okay. Let's see. Jason Stidham. Isn't that Jarrett? You guys, okay, it's Jarrett. I was close. You guys are the ones that told me about it last week. So, okay. All right, Jarrett. Okay, just go to Jarrett's. All right, so he's 29 years old. I did look up his birthday. He was born during Leo season. So his sun sign is Leo. All right. Okay, for Denver and the Patriots. Like I said earlier, we got the moon in Taurus, you guys. So the moon, she's the co-ruler of every single chart. Again, she rules our emotions, our feelings, all right, our kind of private self. Two, she'll rule the fans at the stadium during this game. So again, moon loves being in Taurus. She's what's called, again, exalted there. She's going to be in Taurus for all three of the charts that we're looking at today. For the start of the Broncos and Patriots game, she's going to be at 1 degree of Taurus. Every zodiac sign is 30 degrees. So she just moved right in. It's like she just went over to her best friend's house. Okay. And she feels very good there. She might even have her own room at her best friend's house. Okay. It's like she basically lives there, but she doesn't. Okay. Hi, John. I ain't sitting on Steinem. I sure hope he's got it. Yeah, it's like, what's going on with him? Like, how is he gonna play? Man, I wish I could look at his like own personal astrology chart. All I know at this point is that his sun sign, again, who he is at his core, like his ego is a Leo. Okay. And the sun, one of his main rulers, being a Leo, is in the sign of Aquarius. So the sun is kind of in its detriment because that's when a planet is in, or the sun or the moon is in a sign opposite that it rules. So the sun being in Aquarius is opposite the sign of Leo. So his ruler is in kind of like an unfavorable spot right now. But again, that's only one little piece, you know, of the team and one little piece of him, like as a quarterback and as a person. So we'll see what happens. All right. But yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see too what old Sean Payton can kind of, you know, put together here. You know. So, and I forget Drake May's sun sign. I looked it up last week. I think he's damn, what is he again? I swear I'm always like looking up. Is he Gemini or something? I cannot remember. He's a Virgo. Okay. So he's ruled by Mercury. All right. So Jarrett was born during Leo season. Drake May was born during Virgo season. And interesting too that Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And right now Mercury is combust the sun. So that's when a planet is in about 7-8 degrees within the sun. So it's like the sun kind of engulfs that planet and kind of burns it up a little bit. However, Mercury is one of the planets that does like okay being really, really close to the sun like that. But just in general, we have a lot of combust planets right now. Again, that's when a planet is within about 7 degrees of the sun. The sun is at 5 degrees of Aquarius. And if you'll notice, we got Mars, Pluto, Mercury, and Venus all within 7 degrees of the sun. So all of these planets are combust right now. Like the sun is burning up all of these planets right now. So, and the sun is also in a sign that it doesn't feel comfortable in because it naturally rules the sign opposite to it. So it's like all of this kind of crazy energy going on right now too, which, you know, again, like what's going on in the sky is often very reflective of what's going on down here. And the sun rules, you know, our life force energy. It's masculine energy. It's our ego. Again, who we are at our core level. And it's burning up Venus, which rules, you know, our feminine side. It rules women, what we naturally love. It's burning up Mercury. Mercury's our communication planet. It's also burning up Pluto. Pluto is the planet of like death and destruction. It will uproot anything, especially things that have been rooted for a long time. And then Mars is also being burned up. Mars is our ambition, our drive, and it also rules war, okay, and anger and aggression. So if you think about everything that's going on right now, okay, that could be like explain part of what's going on right now. So if you just think about that. And then the moon, again, she co-rules the chart and she rules, you know, our feelings and everything like that. The moon is squaring all of these planets and the sun, this thick red line here. So it's like our emotions are just on a world level, just for everyone, are so tense and heightened right now because the moon is shining her light and squaring all of these planets, you know, and the sun. So it's just this crazy amount of energy that's going on right now. So anyway, that's just a little peek is what's happening there. Elaine told Jerry's Nana to drop dead. You told my Nana to drop dead? Elaine, another Seinfeld reference. We love it. All right, so I already talked about the moon. Again, she's at 1 degree of Taurus. She really likes being there, feels right at home. But again, she's shining her light and squaring, which is tension, okay? All of this, all of her light, she's illuminating all of these planets here. Mars, Pluto, the sun, Mercury, and Venus. Okay? It's a lot. All right, now we'll start with the Broncos. They're going to be ruled by Jupiter for this game, okay? And how they play their game is also going to be ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, and Saturn is there, and the moon is there too. So a lot of energy focused on the Broncos. I mean, they're playing in Denver, probably going to have a little bit more energy there. And plus, you know, we were already talking about Denver. They have to deal with the quarterback situation. You know, they had Bo Nix playing really, really well. Then he got injured. So, whoa, they had to pull the brake or, you know, pull the brakes on that or push the brakes on that and stop and kind of pivot and go a different course. So that could be some kind of Saturn energy that the Broncos are going to have to deal with during this game because Saturn can bring delays and blockages. It can slow things down. So for Denver, they are dealing with Saturn being in their house of how they play the game, which again, kind of like Saturn is slow moving. It's very, very cold. It will restrict things. It will make a boundary be put up. And, you know, Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn and Aquarius. Sean Payton was born during Capricorn season. And Saturn as a planet, it will reward when you put the work in and you do what you're supposed to do and you follow through, okay? That's when Saturn will reward. So we'll see if the Broncos and Sean Payton, you know, have come up with a plan to do what works for them, to go the tried and true way and kind of do what's best for them and do what's right. And then, you know, hopefully they're going to be rewarded kind of thing. And then the moon is also in the Broncos' 5th house of how they're going to play the game. A lot of emotions going into this game. The moon rules our emotions. They're obviously playing in Denver. You know, I'm sure obviously it's going to be a majority of Broncos fans there. Emotions are on high alert. A lot of energy just going on in general. Okay. And then how the Broncos show out on a public level today is ruled by the sun. Okay. And they also have the part of fortune there, which is a circle with an X through it. So we're going to look at Jupiter, and this is the Broncos. So Jupiter is the greater benefic planet in astrology. It usually will bring good lucks and blessings. Okay. And it doesn't know any restrictions or boundaries, which is the opposite of Saturn. And Saturn is the greater malefic planet in astrology. So for the Broncos themselves, you know, they are ruled by Jupiter. I really like that for them just as a ruler. Jupiter does really, really well. Jupiter right now is retrograde. Jupiter's been retrograde for a while. So kind of moving at a different pace than Jupiter normally moves. But Jupiter, i.e. the Broncos, they're in the sign of Cancer. Jupiter feels like the moon being in Taurus, exalted. Jupiter is exalted in Taurus. So the Broncos are in a sign that feels very, very good. Funny enough, the Broncos are in a sign that is ruled by the moon, and the moon is also exalted. So, I would expect the fans to just be like, obviously, again, they're going to be amplified. It's a playoff game, one game away from the big one. I just expect them to be extra supportive of Jarrett, who's going to be starting again for the injured Bo Nix, and just being being in solidarity, the fans with the team and vice versa. I would really, really expect that today, just kind of even more on an extra level. But with the Broncos dealing with Saturn, again, which will put up blocks and delays, Saturn being in the 5th house, it could take the Broncos a little bit of time to kind of get things rolling, okay? And they could have to lean on the older people on the team, the older players on the team too, to have success, because Saturn rules older people as well. The moon, which co-rules the chart, she's in, again, the Broncos game, the house of how they're going to play their game. So again, so much emotions, like all eyes on the Mile High Stadium today for sure. Like probably everywhere in Colorado and Denver will just be zeroed in to this game today, even probably more so because they're one game away from the big one. And the moon is in good position with the Broncos themselves, with Jupiter. The moon is also in good position with Saturn and Neptune. So again, it might take, the Broncos a little bit of time to get moving today, but eventually as time goes on, and maybe, for Jarrett too, being the starting quarterback for this game, once he gets some passes in and some completions, then starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. All right. And then how the Broncos are going to show out on a public level today, their longevity in their career, it is ruled by the sun. And the sun is kind of burning up all of these planets here. All right. And the sun is dealing with this square and this tension from the moon. So on a more public level, I'm not exactly sure. Again, I just feel like it's going to take the Broncos kind of they're working some sort of rust off or something, or they're trying to get in a flow that makes Jarrett comfortable and vice versa. And it, for Sean Payton, he might have this set game plan, but it might take, quite a few plays to kind of get the wheels in motion. All right. And another thing that I do like for the Broncos is that the part of fortune, again, it's Arabic lot. It's a circle with an X in it. Is in good communication with the moon, and it's also in good communication with Jupiter. The one thing for the Broncos too that I'm just a little iffy about is the moon squaring the sun, which rules how they show it on a public level. I feel like that could manifest as if they do lose the game, it is just going to be a complete breakdown, just a heartbreaker, break the fans' heart, and just a moment where they could potentially be embarrassed by the loss, in some way. Let's see. All right, I think I kind of went over all of the main points for Denver. So now let's take a little look for the Patriots. So the Patriots are going to be ruled by Mercury, all right? Communication planet. And then for Drake May, he was born during Virgo season. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So that's a very fitting planet, for the Patriots and just for Drake May. So Mercury is at 8 degrees of Aquarius. Mercury is combust the sun. So it is getting burnt up by the sun right now. But Mercury bodes a little bit more well being that close to the sun than the other planets, but still, I don't like that for the Patriots, all right? And if you think back to the Broncos, the sun rules their career and their longevity. So could that manifest as, on a public level, the Broncos burning up the Patriots in a way, all right? Or since Mercury doesn't do so poorly being so close to the sun, Could it be that Mercury is like, and the Patriots like, oh, no, we're going to show you that we got what it takes and we can beat you at your home stadium and keep going. Potentially. Just things to look out for. So just for the Patriots, I don't like that. And then the Mercury is also going to be receiving a square from the moon. The moon co-rules the chart. So I don't like that for the Patriots either. All right. And then for the Patriots, Saturn and Uranus are the rulers of their career and their longevity. And Saturn and Uranus are not doing anything. Let's see. With Mercury, if anything, Mercury eventually will square Uranus, and that's some more tension and not good. So I don't really like that for the Patriots. The one thing that I do like for the Patriots is that I don't normally look at the North and the South node doing the horary charts or the game charts. I don't normally look at them, but, since the playoffs, a little bit of a different ball game, and I don't know if Clean Music Lovers in the chat too, he does astrology and sports and stuff too, and he looks at the nodes. So he left a comment last week, about looking at the nodes and their placement, or not saying like, hey, Jade, look at them. He just kind of mentioned them. And I said that, I might have to start looking at the North and South node in the chart. So we can just take a peek at that here too. The North node is also what's known as like the dragon's head. That's where we're supposed to go. Everybody has a North and South node somewhere. They were somewhere when all of us were born. So we all have our own North and South node, like our destiny, where we should be headed. And then the dragon's tail, the South node is like where we've come from. So it's kind of like the South node is where we feel a little bit more comfortable because we have experience there, but we should be trying to go towards the North node and, doing something maybe like new or a little bit uncomfortable, but kind of more of like a destiny where you should be headed, But so for the Patriots, they do have the North node in their 10th house of how they show out on a public level in their career and longevity. That could manifest as, hey, we're going to keep ascending here and we're going to win and go forward. It could also manifest because their ruling planet doesn't really have a lot of support in the game today. It could manifest as like, hey, we made a great run with a young quarterback and we almost got to the big game, but just not our time this season, but we're still headed there potentially. And then for the Broncos, they have the South node, the dragon's tail in their 10th house. It is getting support from the moon. I mean, the moon is supporting the North node too. So it's like, that's kind of a wash for both teams. But could it turn out for Denver, like the South node being in their career and longevity for today? Like, okay, you had a great season, but time's up. Like, that's just how it's going to be. Or could it be, all right, us sucking, this being the Broncos, is in the past. All right, we're leaving that in the past. And by them winning today, that proves that they're ascending and they're going forward and they're leaving the South node, the past, in the past. All right. But just to wrap it up here, because there's two more charts to go through. Where am I in my notes? I haven't even looked at my notes, but they're all right here. I just think that the Broncos have more support today. Okay. The Broncos are ruled by Jupiter, which is a greater benefic. It's a benefic planet, the greater one. It's in a really good spot that it likes being in. It's getting support from the moon. Jupiter is supporting Neptune and also supporting Saturn, which rule how the Broncos play. And again, it's getting support from the moon. So while I do think it might take the Broncos a little bit of time to kind of get things moving today, and it's not like it's going to be easy because they have Saturn again in their 5th house, which will block things. Like you're going down a path and then Saturn pops up and is like, you got to stop here and go back or find some other way because that's not going to work. And then with Neptune there too, Neptune can kind of gloss things over. It can make you kind of wear rose-colored glasses on a situation and not see like the true reality of the situation. But Jupiter, the Broncos are in good position with Saturn and Neptune. And the moon is also supporting Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. The one thing, again, for the Broncos I don't like is that the moon is squaring the sun, and the sun is, how they're going to look on a public level. And with Jarrett being a Leo or being born during the Leo season, it could be a bit of a struggle. It's not going to be smooth sailing for the starting quarterback for Denver. And with the moon ruling the people and ruling emotions and squaring the sun, he might hear it from the fans too, especially if he throws some sort of pick or something like that. I don't like that. And, for the Patriots, I don't think they're going to make it easy. I just think that with their ruling planet getting a square from the moon, I don't like that. And with Mercury, their ruling planet, being combust the sun, I feel like that could be a struggle. It's just I don't really see a lot of support for the Patriots, or I see more good for Denver. While I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle for Denver, yeah, definitely. And I do think that the fans, having the Broncos be the home team, and I think the fans are really going to have to show out today and help kind of rule or run the momentum for the Broncos, especially because they're dealing with, the hiccup with Bo Nix being out. So I am going to pick the Broncos to win this one by, let's see, did I write that down? All right. I have in all my notes that I'm going to confirm during the stream. So I'm going to pick the Broncos to win by 2 to 11 points. I do think it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them, and it might take them a while to kind of figure things out. I feel like the Patriots are going to come in there very, very quickly, try to move very, very fast. But in the end, if the Broncos stay in it the whole entire time and just don't lose hope too, because Jupiter that rules the Broncos does rule hope too. Don't lose hope. Do what works for you. Do the tried and true approach. The Broncos get the victory. So I am picking them officially to win. I'm picking the Broncos over the Patriots by 2 to 11 points. But if on the flip side, the Patriots do end up winning, I do think it will be because that even though their ruler Mercury is combust the sun, those two planets are still also conjunct each other, which is very powerful. And out of, all of the planets, Mercury does best being that close to the sun. So, all right. Anyway, so Denver over the Patriots on that one. So I will stop sharing. Anybody have any thoughts? What do you guys think about Patriots? I know Ryan said Patriots. You can't have any faith in a 7-year backup quarterbacks. Broncos are going down today, and the Patriots are going to cruise to a 17-point win. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for sure, anything's possible. And I do think that, them having to deal with their backup quarterback, situation, who knows what's going on with him, right? And that I really equate that to the Saturn of it all for the Broncos. Saturn, again, being in the Broncos' 5th house of their game, how they play their game, and Saturn can just stop things in its tracks and make it really, really difficult and really, really challenging. And I do think that the quarterback, I wouldn't expect old Jarrett, to really have a smooth sailing game today. I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle. The Broncos are going to have to saddle up, okay, and be in for the long haul today. All right, but we'll see how the astrology pans out. We'll see how I read the chart. I always kind of do a recap after each one, and it's fun to see it play out in real time. So, but the biggest thing again that I'm picking Denver over, whatever they're called, the Patriots, is just because of the ruler Jupiter. I've just seen it play out in other charts where Jupiter comes in clutch and can be really, really powerful. All right. But we'll see which team's more powerful today. All right. So moving on to the next one. John, both of these teams have talent and should be defensive effort. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to look up for that too. And maybe it'll be a lower scoring game too. You never know. I mean, the Patriots have put up some points though. And I mean, their offense is pretty good. But yeah, John, to your point, both teams dealing with some good talent. And, for Broncos, their biggest hurdle, again, is the quarterback situation. And for the Patriots, I guess I would expect their biggest hurdle today being the fact that they're playing in Denver, right? And maybe, too, it's like they might have a little bit of confusion as to how to treat the quarterback situation. Like, they don't really know what Sean Payton's going to have up his sleeve. But is it going to be enough? We shall see. We shall see. All right. So thanks for sharing what you guys think here. So let's pull up the next one. And that is going to be Seattle, all right, and the Rams. I feel like both games are going to be close today. I feel like if any game were to get out of hand, it might be Denver versus the Patriots, but in due time, people, we will know. Okay. All right. Do I got the right one? Yes, I do. All right. Let me share the view here a little bit. Okay. All right. So game number 2, NFL game number 2, I should say. Seattle Seahawks. All right. That's our Darnie versus the LA Rams. And Matthew Stafford, can you make some magic happen again? Okay. We'll see. It seems like there's definitely some magic going on with Matthew Stafford, but I've always liked him, though. It does seem like, I mean, even with all the time and all the length he's been in the league, he's still there, still competing, and still, his team's one game away from going to another big one. All right. So as we all know, the moon co-ruler, every single chart. Again, like I said earlier, the moon's going to be in Taurus for all 3 games today at different degrees because she moves rather quickly. So at the start of this game, the moon feels very good again in Taurus. She's going to be at 3 degrees of Taurus at the start of Seattle and the Rams game. All right. Kind of reminds me of what I used to say about Kirk Cousins. Like, Kirk, are you comfy? Got to make sure Kirk is comfy. As long as Stafford is comfortable, right? And Seattle's defense, I mean, oh, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it might be, I don't know. Maybe it's like out of both of the games today, if there could be one that goes completely out of hand, maybe it's going to be the Seahawks game. But maybe I'm only thinking that because of the way that they completely just whooped up on the 49ers. And Seattle is a very tough place to play. They are extremely loud and, raucous in that arena. And just during regular season. So, I mean, kind of like the whole thing in Denver, too, because the moon rules the people. She rules our emotions. And the moon being in a sign she feels good in, the fans are at home. The majority of the fans, I'm sure, are going to be the hometown fans. So for both teams that are playing at home today, they're just going to really have like that extra fandom and extra like, we're going to go crazy here and just be so supportive. And I really think that the fans could help keep each home team grounded, okay, and stable because the moon is in Taurus, which is a very stable, it's an earth sign, and it can be it is a fixed sign also. So like we're just staying grounded and we're staying in our place and we're staying where it feels comfortable. All right. So that's where the moon is going to be. Ryan, I do give Seattle credit, though. They rebuilt for the past 2 years through the draft, whereas the Vikings at times spun their wheels. Yeah. Oh, that's a very good point, Ryan. Yeah, you're right. Because, yeah, Seattle, they've always been, but for the last few years, like, especially since Russell Wilson, like, out of his prime, like Pete Carroll gone, too. So, yeah, that's a really good point, Ryan. I might get the Tecmo Bowl shirts of the helmets of the teams who win today. Wait, what is that? What is that? I don't know what that is. I'm not familiar. What's that about? What is that? Ryan, you got to tell me what that is. That sounds exciting. I hope you get it. Is it like team helmets, like the little ones? I don't know. Are you in some sort of like drawing or something or in the running? You got to tell me more Because I don't know. I'm clueless on that. It could get intense and even a bit physical. Yeah. And you know what? Another good point. Yeah, made by John there too. Especially that intense and physical aspect. And again, this all comes back to the moon squaring all of these planets and especially squaring Mars. Mars, again, is intense. Mars is physical as well. So, yeah, that's a really good point, John. Yeah. And the moon squaring, there's tension towards Mars, aggression, anger, Pluto, destructive, the sun, who we are at our core, our egos. There could be some egos getting very embarrassed today or very squashed or just like intense and physical. John, like you said, Mercury, our communication planet, Venus, what we love. So it's like the moon squaring all of, like, illuminating all of that planetary energy. Okay. So yeah, intense for sure. Tecmo Bowl was a game on Nintendo back in the day. Oh, before Madden. Okay. I have a Vikings one. Also, Seattle is the same age as me, as well as the Bucks. Oh, really? Nice. Okay, very good. Thank you. I don't know. And I've only watched Madden being played. I've never actually played Madden. But there we go. Tecmo Bowl. Am I saying that right? I think I am, right? Tecmo? I did like playing a Nintendo, though. I did like playing Mario on Nintendo. All right. So, Seattle. So, I feel like I say that a lot. I don't like it. I got to stop. I'm going to go to Seattle. Their ruler is going to be Saturn. That's their main ruler today, Saturn for Seattle. All right. And then Seattle as a team too, they have all of these planets on their team basically, because all of these planets are in Seattle's first house of themselves. Okay. So it's just, man, all of this energy over here. So yeah, I mean, again, to John's point, the intense, like the physical aspect of it all, and really on Seattle's end here too. And to be provoked by the Rams. Like the Rams are literally going to go in there poking because the Rams are ruled by the moon. Okay. And the moon, again, illuminating all of this planetary energy, which happens to sit right on Seattle themselves as a team. That's wild. All right. Astrology be astrologing, you guys. Okay. For Seattle, again, them being ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn moves very slowly, greater malefic planet. You got to do what you're supposed to do, follow the rules, and you will get rewarded. But if things get tough, you can't give up. You got to stay in it for the long haul. So that's Seattle today. And with them having this good defense too, defense obviously stops and blocks the offense. So I would expect Seattle to really rely heavily on their defense, which wouldn't be a surprise, right? No, that would not be a surprise at all. Just like Drake May for the Patriots, Sam Darnold was born during Gemini season. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury. I just said so again. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So Sam Darnold, one of his main planets is Mercury. Mercury is, again, combust the sun. So we might see some quarterback struggles here today, people. For Drake May, for Jarrett, and for Sam Darnold. And Matthew Stafford was born when the sun was in Aquarius. Where is the sun right now? In Aquarius. So he's about to have a birthday if he didn't already have one. February 7th. So he's a later Aquarius. I mean, but he's working up to his birthday. So when Matthew Stafford was born, the sun was, kind of around the later degrees of Aquarius, kind of over here. So all of these planets are moving towards where the sun was when Matthew Stafford was born. All right. So I would expect Matthew Stafford to probably play the best out of any of the quarterbacks today that are playing. But again, would that really surprise us? No. because he's the more experienced one. And he's the quarterback that's actually won the big game. So, but again, the astrology be astrology. I just said so again. I got to stop. For Seattle, their fifth house of how they play their game today is ruled by Venus. Venus is combust the sun, so it's getting burnt up. Venus is also feeling a square from the moon. The moon, again, is the ruler of the Rams today. But for Seattle, their ruling planet Saturn is in really good alignment with Uranus, and Uranus is the planet, again, of chaos, things that are surprising, and Uranus is in the Seattle Seahawks fifth house of how they play their game. So I would kind of read that as for Seattle to get the victory today and kick the Rams out and kind of kick the Rams off of the pedestal a little bit here, that they're going to have to do things and play their game in an unexpected way. Keep them on their toes. Make them do something surprising that they would not expect. Do it at the right time, and you will be rewarded. That's how I kind of read that energy. Seattle needs to rely, I think, if I were their astrologer, rely on the defense heavily, okay? That has been successful for you. They've been playing really, really well. Keep the Rams on their toes. Call some sort of game or plays that are different that you normally do, but that you know that you can execute, and you will be rewarded. And for Seattle, how they show out on a public level today is ruled by Mercury. So their career, their longevity is getting burned up by the sun today. However, for the Seahawks, they do have all of this planetary energy in their first house as a team. And Mercury is there. So they know how important this game is. And I would expect the Seahawks to just be even more elated than the Rams. I mean, obviously, both teams are going to be extremely elated. But, there is so much maybe extra pressure on Seattle because not only are they playing at home, they're playing against a team that has won the big game before. They're one game away from getting to the big one. So it's just all of this energy and this potential is just right there for Seattle. And moving over to the Rams, they're ruled by the moon. The moon is in a sign that she very much likes being in. The Rams, how they play their game is ruled by Mars and Pluto. And Mars and Pluto are right next to each other in the sign of Aquarius. Mars, the planet, again, of war, intense energy, physical energy. Pluto, the planet of destruction, okay? And those two are right next to each other. And they are getting this tension and square from the moon, which again rules the Rams. So I feel like the Rams are going to have to be so much more intense and physical than they normally are, especially to deal with Seattle's defense. But with the square happening from the moon, which rules them, I don't like that energy. I feel like the Rams might just not have quite enough to outlast and make it the entire game. And for the Rams, how they show out on a public level is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter and Neptune are in good alignment. They are getting support from the moon. For the Rams, they basically have Jupiter right in their first house of, again, good luck, blessings, and hope. For the Rams, they also have Saturn in their 10th house of their career and their longevity. Saturn, again, rules the Seahawks. Saturn will stop things. So could Seattle put a stop to, this career, this longevity, this public point of the Rams and the Rams season? Just nope, it's done today. We are putting a stop to it today. You already won. You already have your longevity. Now we're putting a stop to that, and we're going to try to make it, to the big, or make it to the big one and win. And the Rams also have the moon in their 10th house. So I could expect, to see quite a few LA Rams fans in the house in the Seahawks arena. I mean, 2. Does that surprise us that could take place? No, because LA is not that far from Seattle. So it could maybe be more like an even crowd, or maybe like 75 Seattle, 25 the Rams, something like that. Or we might just be noticing a little bit more yellow in the stands, than we normally do. Even though Seattle, they wear green and blue, and that neon green that they wear sometimes can be pretty bright. So it's just like, which team has the better upper hand here? The biggest challenge for me, and I would say like out of the two NFL charts, this one's the one where I'm just like, ooh, man. I mean, for the Rams, I really just think it's going to have to be Matthew Stafford and their experience moving them forward. And, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and McVay too, just doing what they know works best and staying level-headed and staying grounded, because the Rams are ruled by the moon. The moon is in the sign of Taurus, which is fixed energy, stable energy. The moon is illuminating. The Rams are putting all this illumination on Mars, Pluto, the sun, Mercury, and Venus. There's a lot of tension there. This one where I'm just like, it could get dirty here. Could be very, very close. And for Seattle, how they show out on a public level today, it is combust the sun. It is getting burnt up. But Mercury, of all the planets, doesn't do as poorly being burnt up. Okay. And then on the flip side for the Rams, how they play their game, Mars and Pluto also getting burnt up by the sun. Okay. Let's see what I had written down here. So I have written in my nerd notes, confirmed during the live, which is what I'm doing, but I do have Seattle winning by 5 points in this one. All right. So if anybody wants to let me know what you guys think the final score will be. Well, I put that down. But yeah, I have written down in my notes here, Seattle wins by 5. But it'll be really interesting to see how this moon squaring all of these planets really manifests itself. And the moon does, again, rule the Rams. And the moon is in a comfy sign, but she's also getting all of this tension and not so positive energy from Mars, Pluto, the sun. I mean, it's an energetically crazy, intense time. Just not only in the game, but just what's happening all around, for everybody right now. So who wins? I think, yes, Seattle leans on their defense, really sticks to the game plan. I was just looking at, or what I just noticed here, is that the moon, being the Rams, again, the ruler of the Rams today, the moon finds herself in Seattle's 4th house, which is their house, their home, their stadium. And that's just so funny that the Rams are there and like putting this red line, this square on all of these planets, and all of these planets are right on Seattle. So it's like, man, who really has the upper hand here? And for Seattle, I mean, they're just dealing with so much. But if they do something if they do something unexpected, I really think that they might get it. That being Seattle. We'll see. But I'm not completely confident on that. I think it's going to be a bloodbath a little bit. I'll have to go with the Seahawks being at home. Rams didn't even earn the right to play in their house. Yeah, I think Seattle and the defense might take it. TD, what's going on? TD Lim. Hi, how are you? Peo. All right, I was mentioning you earlier. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck to your team today. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be like a battle, okay? Yes. Talking. Oh, I forgot to change the ticker on the bottom. Yes, we are talking Rams in Seattle. Man, Peo, I was saying earlier too that like I really don't care like who wins the games today, just like on a fan level. But I was saying that if the Rams do win, I'd be in solidarity with you, happy for you. But for me, as a fan, like if I had to pick, I'm cheering for Sam Darnold. I want him to go well. But then on the flip side, if the Rams win, I'd be really happy for you. So yeah. It's going good. Nice. Oh, you're pulling for the Broncos in the Rams Bowl. All right. Yeah, I did pick the Broncos. We'll see what happens there. And then now I'm just like, I don't know. I can see it going either way here. Oh my gosh, you're nervous? Yeah. Who do you have winning? I think it's gonna be a close one. Yeah, and I feel like both teams could be close today. It'll just be really interesting to see which team does end up having the upper hand. I just think, again, if Seattle does things that are unexpected and stands the course and relies on their defense, like if I was their astrologer, I would heavily recommend doing that. Okay, if they weren't already doing it. And for the Rams, I think what would work out best for them is they play fast and they play intense and physical. And if they can keep up that energy throughout the entire game, they could get the victory. So yeah, I just feel like it could go either way. That's fair. Lots of stories to cheer for. Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, lots of reasons to, be happy for any team, but, may the best team win. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. I think it's Rams, Broncos, and the upsets. Just seems like a good end to what has been a crazy NFL season. Okay, yes. I did pick the Broncos to win over the Patriots. So, yeah, I went through that chart earlier. We'll see how that plays out. What did I have them winning by, you guys? 2-11. Could be a close one there. And, yeah, this one, I originally, in my notes, probably can't see it. Here. In my notes, you see that scribble? I originally had LA right here. LA. LA wins, and then I scribbled it out. And then I put Seattle wins by 5 points, confirmed during live. So, man. So originally I put the Rams, but I'm going to make a pick here. Any dating advice for Rams fans today? Is it a good day to shoot your shot with that crush at the coffee shop? I actually wouldn't go for it, but don't expect to be surprised if you get shot down or if that might ruffle some feathers. I wouldn't necessarily encourage that, but it depends on everybody's own personal astrology. But the reason I say that is because, yeah, it might be a good time. If you feel really confident about it, I would say go for it. But if there's any hesitation on anybody's part, I would say maybe just wait it out a little bit. Doesn't necessarily have to be right right now, maybe just wait a couple of days. I would probably advise that, just because the moon, which rules our emotions, is squaring Venus, which rules our love life, who we love. It's also squaring Mercury, our communication planet. So it's just like tension and like not the best time maybe for communication. And if you do go for it and you are risky and daring, don't be surprised if you maybe get shot down or maybe get an answer that you don't really want to necessarily hear. But again, it's different for everybody's own personal astrology. But just on a main, kind of vibe, maybe just wait it out a little bit. Oh, you're taking the Seahawks? Yeah, that's who I scribbled out. Or I picked the Rams originally, and then I scribbled and I said Seattle wins by 5, confirmed during the live. But yeah, Clean Music Lover, thanks for being here. And if I'm going just by like the traditional rules that I read in the book where I learned how to do this, the squares generally mean no in a yes or no situation. And the moon, that being the Rams, is squaring all of this planetary energy and is squaring Mars and Pluto, which rule how the Rams play. So are the Rams going to play well? Yes, no, no. With a square, that means no, generally. But Seattle's also dealing with all of that energy too. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to pick Seattle, I think, just if I had to pick. If I gotta, because I gotta make a pick. We'll see if, that goes against my better judgment that I originally had in my notes, LA, but then I went back and I'm like, well, I got to go with what I've learned, and learn off of that moving forward. And again, in yes or no situations, the square energy means no. And Mars, Pluto being combust the sun. The moon squaring the sun, squaring Mars, Pluto, the sun, then to square Mercury. I had Seattle winning by 5. I mean, I could look at this all day and I miss things too. So I eventually just got to make a pick. So Seattle by 5. But now the but. So I'm officially taking the Seattle Seahawks to beat the LA Rams by 5 points. We'll see how it plays out. Now, if Seattle does go to lose, it might be just because the Rams are too much for them. Just too much. And they just have luck on their side. And it's Aquarius season. Matthew Stafford was born during Aquarius season, just having some of that extra energy, maybe a little bit of Matthew magic. So if the Rams end up winning, it could be because of that. So, but we'll see how everything plays out. Seattle in a close one. Seattle by 5. And the next chart I have is the Timberwolves chart and Golden State. You're just kidding? No. You're stressed out about the Rams to focus on asking out the coffee crush? That's funny, right? Yeah, and that could be reflective as to what's going on too, for sure. Oh, yeah, of course. Anytime. But you know what? Why wait for the perfect time too? Like, the perfect time is going to be when it is, regardless of what's going on. So, but just overall, like what I saw, just to answer your question. But, that being said, on the flip side, for somebody's own personal astrology chart, this might be the perfect time. Yeah. Rams fighting the stairs again this week. We are ready. Yeah, I think it's going to be, like John mentioned earlier, intense and physical. And I would concur with that. Sean McVay's birthday yesterday helped. Oh, he's turning 40. His birthday was yesterday? I thought he was an Aries. Really? Because I knew Maddie Stafford was an Aquarius. Peo, your birthday's coming up too. Happy birthday to you. Or did it already happen? It didn't already happen, did it? I I can't remember, but I know you're an Aquarius, so, or you were born during Aquarius season. So it is the Aquarians' time, actually. So Matthew Stafford was born during Aquarius season. It's good energy. I totally thought Sean McVay was what the hell? Why? Google. Oh, because I didn't spell it right. God, I'm dumb. I'm like, why isn't it me bringing it? Why isn't the internet bringing me to Sean McVay's Wikipedia page? But it's like, I have to spell his last name correctly. Oh my God, yeah, January 24th, 40. Okay, why did I think he was an Aries this whole time? Not that it really matters. Okay, but yes, that does. This is such an Aquarius. Oh man. One more thing I want to look up. I mean, that does make a difference because there's like Sean McVay is having his sun return. So when he was born, the sun is very close to where it is now. And the sun is returning to that point. And the sun is like, but the sun is also in its detriment right now. I'm just looking up a perfection year chart. One other thing that I want to look up. And every year that you go through, rules a different house in astrology. It's what's called a perfection year. So it's kind of like the theme that your birthday will be in, or like the year of your birthday. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place right now, you guys. I'm trying to find this image. Okay, so Sean McVay just entered a fifth house perfection year. So the fifth house has to do with games and sports and entertainment. Wow. Oh, very good. Happy early birthday to you. Yeah, very good. Matty Ryan, president status at Atlanta football. Right? Yeah, I heard about that. The 29th, yeah. Oh my God. And my friend's daughter, it's her birthday today too. So I have to text her. So yeah. My friend's daughter's name is Annie. So shout out to Annie. I don't think they'll ever see this, but it's her birthday today. My friend's daughter. I'm going with the expertise of Stafford and McVay. Yeah. Rams win 28-24 in a very entertaining game. I think it will be very, very close. Yeah. And I could really see the Rams pulling it out. And especially with all of that, man, with McVay being an Aquarius too. I keep wanting to say he's an Aries now. I swear, when I looked his sign up at one point, it was freaking Aries. But obviously I'm wrong because he was born during Aquarius season. Yeah, I mean, that could be really, really beneficial. And to Texas, to your point, the experience of Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. And Uranus is the modern day ruler of Aquarius. And Uranus is right in Seattle's fifth house of how they play their game. So that's also very reflective because McVay and Stafford are, partially ruled by Uranus. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be a good one. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll stick with it. Seattle wins by 5. But yeah, if the Rams do end up winning, I could especially knowing that they're both Aquarian energy or Aquarius placements. Definitely gonna, the horns are gonna be out. Okay. The ram horns, well, they're actually curled in. So the ram horns are gonna be out, okay? And they're gonna make it tough. But if they can Seattle again, that relies on that defense, does what they do best. Throw in some surprises. All right. They get the win. All right, what time is it? All right, it's 1:41. I blab on with the charts, you guys, but there's so much to look at. I mean, we could still be looking at the first one. Timberwolves and Golden State. Just going to try to go through this and then wrap it up here in about 2 hours. I'm going to have to come say hi, Peo. Got to go. Have a great day. Great day, all. Thank you. Yep, best of luck to your Rams. I could see them pulling it out for sure. I'm going to come say hi later. I'll stop by. Have a great stream. All right, and best of luck to the Rams, okay? Let it be a good game. May the best team win. Thanks for being here, Peo. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Always good to see you. All right. Everybody go subscribe. All right. Rams radar. All righty. Minneapolis, 4:30 tip-off time, Central Time for Wolves hosting Golden State. And this game, again, was supposed to be played yesterday, but it got postponed to today. Now, the interesting thing about this chart is that the planetary rulers for each team will change if tip-off is at 4:35 or after. I'm assuming that tip-off is probably going to be at 4:35 or after. So I'm going to kind of focus on that. Oh, thanks, Peo. That's so nice. Back at you. Rock on. All right. That's very nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. Back at you. All right. Good luck today. All right. Everybody go stop by his stream later. Like I said, he gets like hundreds of people in there. So he has a good time over there. Very good host. So for Timberwolves, Golden State, again, I'm assuming that tip-off is probably going to be at 4:35 or later. You never really know. The NFL, they, when it comes to doing astrology charts, because you need the exact time, right? Like NFL is pretty good about that. They pretty much stay on time. Like the kickoff is only going to be probably up to like 3 minutes and some change after like the slated kickoff time. All right. Usually, especially for regular season, they really stay on the schedule. And the NBA, a little bit different. Sometimes it can be kind of all across the board depending. But generally, tip-off is like 10 minutes or later, for NBA. So I'm just going to go in reading the chart that assuming that tip-off is at 4:35 or after. All right. So we're going to go with that. And the moon's still going to be at in Taurus, you guys. And the Timberwolves game is going to start before the Seahawks and the Rams game. So that's kind of interesting. Oh, I should have done it man, I said earlier that I was going to go down the line in order of when the games are going to start. And the Timberwolves should have been chart number 2 then in that instance. Math is hard, you guys. Okay, because this game, I should have just stayed in Central Time the whole time. So I should have done the first chart like we did. Then I should have done Timberwolves, Golden State, and then I should have done Denver and LA. You guys, don't blame me. I'm just feeling the moon squaring, okay? That's how I'm kind of feeling that, interpreting that energy right now. Okay, this square. Okay, anyway, so Timberwolves, they're going to be ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Again, if tip-off is at 4:35 or after, we're doing this chart reading for, so we'll see. Moon's still going to be in Taurus. She's going to be at 2 degrees. And the Golden State Warriors, they're going to be ruled by the sun. Timberwolves being Saturn, all right? They also have all of that planetary energy in their first house of themselves as a team. Receiving this square from the moon. Fans are going to be raucous, all right? They're going to want some positivity, especially after what just happened. They're playing in Minneapolis, all right? And but the Timberwolves also dealing with that tension of themselves as a team, because I could be wrong, but they're coming off of a little bit of a losing streak right now. Let me look it up. I think they've lost like the last 3 games of their games. Yeah, they got beat by the Bulls. They lost to the Jazz. They lost to the Spurs. They lost to the Rockets. So they're on a 4-game losing streak right now. That could be, reflective of all that pressure that they're receiving. And Venus rules how the Wolves are going to play their game. Venus is getting burnt up by the sun right now. Venus is getting some square energy from the moon. That's not good. Again, a lot of tension. Tensions are high. Emotions are high, obviously, for the Timberwolves and also just for Minneapolis. So it's just kind of like this extra emotional layer kind of being added to this game, which is reflective of in the chart. And Uranus, the planet of unpredictability, is the co-ruler for the Wolves, and it's in good communication with Saturn, which also rules the Wolves. So relying on their older players, kind of doing something, using this like chaotic energy kind of going on through the city right now to their benefit in some way, to try to like lift the energy up of the city and of themselves as a team, because they are on this losing streak. But it's not going to be easy. And for the Golden State Warriors, they're ruled by the sun. The sun right now, again, is next to all of these planets, kind of burning up its energy. The sun in a sign that it doesn't necessarily feel comfortable being in. So it's just like everybody's energy is just kind of getting burnt up, and everybody's just kind of like, kind of at this like tipping point or like breaking point. And the moon coming in, being in a sign she feels comfortable in, but also illuminating all of this energy. It's like all of this energy is on center stage right now, just for everybody and for each team, really, too. It's just really reflective of the games, of what's going on. And yeah. And for the Golden State Warriors, how they play their game is ruled by Mars and Pluto. And Mars and Pluto are being burnt up by the sun, but also the sun, the Golden State Warriors, are right next to Pluto and Mars, how they play their game. So it's like they're right on top of it, and they didn't get to play the original scheduled time. So they've just been waiting, and Mars and Pluto are getting closer to the sun. Well, Pluto's not, but Mars is trying to catch up to the sun. While I originally thought that would be good for the Golden State Warriors, I feel like that could turn out to be a bad thing, especially with the sun being in Aquarius, being in its detriment and getting squared by the moon. And the sun is kind of engulfing Mars and Pluto. I don't know. I feel like this could be a close one too. What do I have written down? I have written down in my notes, again, to confirm during the live, which is what I'm doing, but I have Golden State winning this one by 1 to 4 points. So just to go down through my notes, for the Timberwolves, the moon is supporting Saturn and Uranus, which co-rule the Wolves. I do like that for them. The moon eventually will be right on the same sign, or right on the same degree, of Uranus. Uranus, the co-ruler for the Wolves. Uranus is in the Wolves' house, 5th house of how they play their game. So doing a little bit unexpected plays or some sort of energy like that. Maybe having the fans on their side too, and really trying to like uplift the community could be an extra added benefit for the Timberwolves today, or for some of their energy. Venus, which rules how the Timberwolves play their game, is in good communication with the part of fortune, which is the circle with an X around it. And the part of fortune is in the Timberwolves' 10th house of how they show out on a public level today. And the part of fortune is in good alignment with Venus. Venus is right supporting, or right basically on top of the Timberwolves, of themselves as a team. Venus is combust the sun, which I don't like for the Timberwolves. And Saturn and Uranus are, again, I already mentioned that, are supporting each other. So now it's like, do the Timberwolves have the upper hand here? Man. Hi, T-Bass. How you doing? My big game pick, my Super Bowl prediction is Broncos versus Seahawks. Yeah, that's those are the two teams that I went with today earlier. We'll see what happens. I had the Broncos winning by 2 to 11 points, and then after much debate, I chose the Seattle Seahawks to win by 5. So we'll see what happens. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Nitro. Hi, Jade. If possible, can you summarize the playoff game findings of what you think it looks like for today? Just tuning in. Who has more checks in favor of the Broncos, Pats, as well as the Seahawks and the Rams? I got to get better at summarizing, but yes, I will do my best to your point. Thank you for joining. Appreciate your comment. And yes, let me try to summarize it for you very briefly. Basically, for the Denver Broncos and the LA Rams, going to be a really intense physical one, kind of what we were going through. If you do want to go back and watch a little bit, it was a few minutes back. We just got done with it, like maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. I think it's going to be a really intense physical game for them. Yeah, should be fun. I'm going to come back to this one. But to answer your question, and it'll be a challenge here for myself. Let me try to go through it really quickly. Denver Patriots. So many charts. Okay. Denver Patriots. The moon, basically, she's going to be in Taurus for all 3 games. She feels really good there. So the fans, the emotions are going to be high. Try to stay grounded and stable, I would say, for all of the fans, and just everybody's emotions for both teams, especially both home teams, I think are really going to have the advantage of being at home and having the majority of the fans being on their side. I do see for like Seattle, the LA Rams, that they might have more of like, you might see a lot of yellow there, for example, or like a lot of Rams fans, a lot more maybe than the other game, having like opposing visitor teams being at the stadium. For the Denver Broncos, why I kind of picked them to win over the Patriots is because they're going to be ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter's getting good support from Saturn, and Neptune is going to eventually get really good communication from the moon. Jupiter and Saturn rule how the Denver Broncos play their game, and Jupiter's in a good spot. And for the Patriots, they're going to be ruled by Mercury. Mercury's currently combust the sun. That's not really the best. Their energy, their gameplay is just getting a little bit depleted, feeling the tension from the moon, from the people. So that's kind of why I picked the Denver Broncos to win by 2 to 11 points. That was my final prediction there, and kind of why I thought so. I'll stop sharing that really quickly. And then I'll move over as quick as I can to Seattle and the Rams. Let's see. Darnold looking to have a good game. If you saw any specifics for him, I'm a fan of him as a Vikings fan. Oh, yeah, me too, for sure. I'm definitely rooting for Sam Darnold. But yes, one thing is he was born during Gemini season. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is combust the sun. It's so close to the sun, right, that it's getting kind of burnt up. So that might be some struggles for not only Sam Darnold, but also Drake May, because Drake May was born during Virgo season. Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. But Mercury, taking a little drink of my ginger ale there. Mercury doesn't do as poorly being so close to the sun as the other planets do. So it might not be as bad. And then I think out of all 3 quarterbacks today, that Matthew Stafford probably is going to play the best, which really is no surprise. But we're in Aquarius season. He was born during Aquarius season. Jarrett Stidham for the Broncos, he was born during Leo season. Leo is currently, or excuse me, the ruler of Leo, the sun, is currently in a sign that it doesn't feel comfortable being in. It's in its detriment. So that's why I think out of the 3 quarterbacks, I mean, really no surprise there either, but that's why Matthew Stafford could play the best maybe out of the 3 today. T-Bass, what's your thoughts on Nostradamus and Edgar Casey? I mean, I think it's really interesting to read all of their stuff. I mean, Nostradamus got a lot of things correct. And I mean, they both did. But Nostradamus also got a lot of things wrong. So I don't know. I just find it very fascinating just to read about, their predictions. And I'm pretty sure that Nostradamus was born during Capricorn season, which is like this old energy, this longevity too. They were around so long ago, and yet they still get talked about. That longevity that comes with Saturn energy. And I think Nostradamus was born during Capricorn season. But yeah, I find it very fascinating. It's very cool. I like to read about all of it. What do you think about it? Don't you find it strange that if aliens did visit Earth, they're here? They have been here the whole entire time. That's what I think. They have this technology to travel hundreds of billions of miles, but when they get here, their shit crashes. Oh, man. I could go on about this subject for a very long time. I get what you're saying. But I mean, I think that they're here. I think that they've always been here. I mean, we could be the aliens, right? Who says that we're not the aliens and that we came here? Yeah. I don't know. Part of me thinks I don't know. They got in it, the aliens crashed. They got into an atmosphere that they're not necessarily from. I mean, I could go down the path, right? But I totally believe in aliens and all that stuff. I think they've been here. I think people that look like people are probably like half alien. I mean, I think we're all aliens, really. We're all aliens. And there's so many planets and like galaxies out there. Like, how could we're not the only ones, right? But I'm also like a firm believer in like, we just create our own reality, right? With how we view and think of the world, that's just created, that we're all not like living in the exact same reality. Like, right. Our realities are slightly a little bit different just on what we're like all projecting for ourselves. I mean, you guys, right? Could be anything. But oh yeah, no problem. I get a little sidetracked about Nostradamus, but yeah. What else for Seattle and the Rams? I just do think too, back to that really quick, but my pleasure. All right, no problem. I do think that if the Rams end up winning, it will definitely be because of this Aquarian energy, this like quirky but longevic, if that's a word, energy, because we're in Aquarius season right now. Matthew Stafford was born during Aquarius season. Sean McVay just had his 40th birthday yesterday. And Sean McVay just started a 5th house perfection year, which is the perfection year is kind of like the theme that your next year is going to kind of have. And Sean McVay just started a 5th house perfection year, and 5th house is the game of sports and games and entertainment. So it's like all of this extra amplified energy there too. So I think the Rams might make it very, very difficult, and it could be a really, really close one, that one. And if the Rams do end up winning, it will just because they've been there before. They know what it takes, that being the Rams, especially Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay. But if Seattle can really stick with their defense, right, and, like put a stop to the Rams. So we'll see. I wish I had some gelato. I'm not smoking any gelato. I don't think that would be very good because it would melt. I don't like melted ice cream. Some people like melted ice cream. Tyra Banks started like a melted, or she started like an ice cream shop where she serves melted ice cream. That's like one of the things is melted ice cream. Did you guys hear about that? I know. Yeah, right. Allegedly, the lizard people. All this alleged, right? I mean, entertainment only. Yeah. I don't know. You never know, right? It could be anything. You don't trust the lizard people. And who used to call himself the Lizard King? Jim Morrison, right? It just makes you think. Oh my gosh, Bigfoot's superpower is to make photos and videos blurry. I know. And it's like all this other stuff coming out right now too. You don't know if it could be AI or if it could be real. So you don't know really what to believe. Like if you do actually finally see something clear, right? To your point, like all of those photos and videos are blurry. And then now if you see one that is maybe clear or something, well, it's like AI. It's just like, how do you know if it's AI or it's not? But I totally believe in Bigfoot too. And I think Bigfoot are like interdimensional. I think they can, yeah, they go through portals. There's portals everywhere, you guys. Name I have not heard in a while, Tyra Banks, right? Yeah, but yeah, she started I think it's in Australia where she serves melted ice cream. Like that's the thing. So yeah, Tyra Banks still doing her thing, I guess. Everybody's never seen there before until they have been. Exactly. Everybody's never been there before until they have been. What? That's a trip. I've never liked that thought process. I got to read that again. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I would go along the lines of like, you believe what you believe until you, and then when you experience something, like if you're a non-believer in something like that, and then you see something yourself, that can change your perspective, right? Obviously, but is anybody going to believe you? You know, well, you got to believe yourself and trust what you saw. I think I've seen many things, and I've had way too many experiences just myself personally with what you would call like paranormal or whatever to not believe and stuff like that. I mean, all the time. There is Desi Banks, comedian. Oh, really? I've never heard of them. Never heard of them. Nostradamus was born December 24th, 1503. To get back to that, because I looked up the birthday. All right. I'm going to go back to Timberwolves now and just finish that up. And it's a little after 2. I've almost been going for 2 hours now. Let's see. I have like 12 tabs open on this version of Explorer. Thanks for hanging out, though, you guys. I appreciate it. Game 1 is about to start here pretty soon. I think, what is it, 3 o'clock? Or no, did it just start? Oh my God, you guys, math is so hard. Oh, it just started. Denver. So they start at 2 p.m. Central. So let me click over to that game really quick. And then I'm just going to finish up the Timberwolves and Golden State. Again, assuming that the tip-off over there is going to be after 4:35 p.m. All right, let's go over here. Hi, Jason. I think I might need a reading from me. Oh, yeah? You got some stuff going on? I can try to take a look at your birth chart if you want. I'm just kind of able to just kind of give a little mini overview. If you want to send me your birth information, you can send. All right. If you're serious. Might just be able to give you a little overview. All right. So yeah, Patriots in Denver did start here. I had to think about it again because of the freaking time change. You're welcome. Anytime. Yeah. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I hope you're having a nice one. All right, so the Patriots just made a stop there on 3rd down. They're all hyped up about it. It's 3rd and 9. Yeah, the game just started, you guys, over here. Denver and Patriots. About 13 minutes left in the first quarter, so they just started. But I'm watching on the Hulu stream here really quick, just panned over. But for anybody that just joined, long story short, I did pick Denver to win, relying on their defense by 2-11. And then for Rams, Seattle, inevitably a hard chart. They all are. But I picked Seattle by 5, so we'll see what happens there. And then for Timberwolves and Golden State, again, this is just assuming that tip-off is going to be at 4:35 Central or later because the planetary rulers change for each team. I originally have Golden State winning by 1-4, but looking at the chart, which is over here, I don't know. Now it looks like the Timberwolves might be able to take it, so I'm just going to pop over and focus on this chart a little bit, and then probably pop off here because I got to finalize my prediction for Wolves and Golden State. I just wanted to see what was going on with the Broncos and the Patriots here really quick, but it looks like they're going to go to commercial. Let's see. So now just going back to Golden State Warriors, they're going to be ruled by the sun. And again, assuming if tip-off is at 4:35 p.m. or later, assuming it is, so that's how I'm reading the chart. The sun is currently at in Aquarius. I don't like that necessarily for Golden State because the sun is in its detriment in Aquarius. Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Golden State's game, and they're right on top of the sun, or they're basically right on top of each other. So it's like Golden State is clearly a championship team. They once were anyway. They know what it takes to get it done. But the sun is also burning up Mars and Pluto. And the sun is getting a square from the moon. The sun is the ruler of Golden State. So I don't like that. So for the Timberwolves and Golden State, it's almost like I want to go back and pick the Timberwolves now. But I think I'm going to have to just stay with Golden State by 1-4. I don't know. That's a hard one. They're all hard. But sometimes it's like the more I look at it, the more I'm like, oh, man, I just get more deeper. And then it's like, okay, what's actually going on? I'm just looking at my notes and like which team. I mean, overall, it looks like, man, the Timberwolves are just dealing with a lot. The moon is just squaring Mars, Pluto, the sun, Mercury, and Venus, like square times 5, plus the sun getting burnt up or burning up Mars, Pluto, Mercury, and Venus. And Venus is the ruler of the Timberwolves game. How they show it on a public level. Man, I think it's going to be a close one between the Timberwolves and Golden State. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's going to be in California. That's right. And that's like right around the corner, too. What is it, February 8th, right? Okay. I'm going to try to make a video about all these predictions that I made in like 1-minute version and then post them too for later. But I appreciate everybody that's been hanging out the whole time. As you all know, I can be kind of long-winded. And just like, again, the charts are just like a layer of an onion, right? You just want to keep peeling through things and looking at things. But it's like, all right, eventually you just got to shut up and make a point. Make a pick. Yeah, I think it's going to be a close one between the Timberwolves and Golden State. The only thing normally, because again, I first in my notes here, but I have confirmed during live, which I'm doing, Golden State being ruled by the sun. And normally, when the planets that like rule the team and also rule their game and how they show out on a public level, when all of those planets are like right on top of one another, normally that's good energy. But the Golden State Warriors are ruled by the sun, and the sun is on top of how they play their game and how they show it on a public level, like burning those two planets being Pluto and Mars, and also Mercury and Venus. It's like the Golden State Warriors are just engulfing, burning up all of that planetary energy. And then for the Timberwolves, they're ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Saturn and Uranus are in good communication with one another. Eventually getting really good communication from the moon too, or getting illuminated by the moon. So it's like I almost want to pick the Timberwolves now and change what I originally had written down. But again, I'm confirming. I don't know, but part of me just wants to stay with my original prediction of Golden State. Oh, yeah, it's just a different name now. I just changed my name on Twitter, Jason, so it's just Jade. If you search Jade C. Cook, you should find me, pop up. But yeah, if you want, if you match, Instagram works too. I just don't check Instagram as much, but yeah, I'll check it out. Thanks for the message. But yeah, I'm still on Twitter. Alrighty. Let's see. Timberwolves or Golden State? Who's going to get it? I think I want to pick the Timberwolves now. Oh, yeah, right on. No problem. Yeah, no problem. I just changed all my handles to kind of match one another or try to match one another. Man, you guys, who's going to take the cake here between Golden State and the Timberwolves? I'm going to highlight in my notebook the other picks that I made. So that way they stand out so when I look later. Man. Now I'm like, I think Golden State might win. I don't know. Man, I think I'm going to have to go with the Timberwolves, maybe? I got to make a decision. Originally, I had Golden State winning by 1-4. Because them as a team ruled by the sun, but the sun is in Aquarius, doesn't normally like being there. The sun is also getting a square from the moon, which isn't good necessarily. The sun is kind of burning up Mars and Pluto. Mars and Pluto rule how Golden State plays their game and how they look to the public today. Also, the moon is squaring Mars, Pluto, and the sun, which isn't necessarily good. Saturn and Uranus for the Timberwolves are the rulers. They're in good alignment with one another. Eventually going to be illuminated in a good way by the moon. Venus rules the Timberwolves game and how they show it on a public level. Venus is getting burned up by the sun, but she's working her way away from that. The part of fortune is also supporting Venus. I don't know. I think I'm going to pick Timberwolves to win now. Okay. I have to make a decision. Timberwolves win by, oh my God, by like 2 points. By like 2, I would say 2-7. I originally said Golden State by 2-7. Minnesota by 2-7. I think I'm thinking way too deep about it, and I'm probably missing things. We'll see what happens. All right. Finally got to the point 2 hours later. Oh, Broncos scored. Right on. Ooh, they did. Very good. Not that I didn't believe you, but I just clicked over here. All right. Okay. I'm just going to write what my predictions were and then put them on the bottom. And then I also wrote it down in my notes, but I will recap here as I type them in. All right. So the recap, predictions. Anybody that's just joining right now, you can always go back earlier if you want. So Broncos versus Patriots. Denver wins by 2-11. And Seahawks versus Rams. Seattle wins by 5 points. And let's see. I picked Minnesota. So Wolves versus Golden State. Minnesota wins by 2-7. So a couple of those I kind of, went off the original prediction, but we'll see what pans out. But that's just the recap there. So I will put that on the bottom. I think I typed it incorrectly. We'll see. Or incorrectly, yeah. Take time to process. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, it's almost 2:30. It's 2:20. Been going for almost 2 hours. But yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out. And yeah, I hope you're having a good one and or just doing the best you can with whatever's going on. And yeah, we'll see how everything pans out today. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. One more bit of piece. One more piece, bit of information to highlight. That was a word salad. All right. Just highlighting stuff in my notes, but all right, everybody. I think I'm probably going to pop off here. Like I said, it's been about 2 hours. So I'll plan to recap and my next one, my next live probably, maybe before the Super Bowl, maybe do like another Timberwolves game or something like that. But I do plan on making a Super Bowl prediction. So plan on being back for that, if not day of or right before. So make a big game prediction, whoever that may be. And yeah, maybe do like a Timberwolves game or an NBA game or NHL game kind of in between before the Super Bowl pick live. But that's my next plan, at least for the stream. Yeah, you too, Jason. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll enjoy the games, you know, may the best team win. So yeah. But again, I appreciate everybody being here and hanging out. And I'll keep my notes or put in my notes the final scores of everything. So I'll recap that next time. And yeah, maybe may the best team win. So with all that, appreciate everybody being here. You guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting, doing all the things. And until next time, I hope everybody, you know, stays safe, be good. All right. Stay cool. So take care, everybody. Thanks for being